What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuco Spotlights. Today we are taking a look at Source of Madness. I'm not super far in this one yet. It is pretty new, but I've been having so much fun with it. I wanted to get a video up as soon as I could. It's an action platformer, twin stick shooter would be the best way to put it, with some roguelike elements. You start by picking a class. I have two unlocked right now, the Generalist and the Pyromancer. You get to pick between three mages. You get two different starting rings, which are going to determine your starting two attacks. There's a ton of rings and a ton of attacks, and that's where like the meat and potatoes of combat comes from. But it makes it very fun. You'll see once we get into it. The art style is fantastic. It's this beautiful, like I want to say it's hand drawn, but it's like this gothic arcane style, and it's just so good. So there's unlocks for like that carry over between your runs, such as unlocking extra dashes. I'm gonna actually unlock the ability to heal twice right now because that's what I've been working towards. You also get these pearls, or these green even stars. Sorry, pardon me. You get those from like killing tough enemies in the game, is the way I found that you get them so far, and you can end up getting some different perks that way, like being able to start with like a random ring, which is one that I already have unlocked that we'll actually come over and we'll take a look at here. This is the Tower of Knowledge. It acts as like the hub world. There's all kinds of people to find and talk to in here. I've gotten lost in here a couple times already. But the art style is just, it floors me like the whole time. The levels themselves, as far as I can tell, they have some like consistency to them. There might be some parts that like change connecting like the main points, but it seems to be fairly consistent. The enemies, though, are where the game is very random. Their placement is fairly consistent. Pardon me, but the enemies themselves are procedurally generated, so you get some very nightmarish creatures, and then there's AI learning associated with the enemies. So the more you play, my understanding is the more you play, the more the AI learns how to control the nightmarish forms that it is spawned into. So for example, there's a beetle type form that has spawned for me, and that AI has already figured out how to do charge attacks. Whereas like some of the other ones are still figuring out how to walk. It's very hard to like explain, but you kind of see it if you do multiple runs. So that was one of the enemies. He knew how to jump. They all kind of know how to jump, but they don't really know how to attack and move as them yet. Which makes for kind of weird animations and stuff now, but like I said, the more you play, the more they kind of figure out how to exist and become much more lethal. So bottom left hand is my abilities. Circle is dash. The Pyromancer leaves a firebomb, which actually has friendly fire for some reason. Kind of annoying, but makes it so that you kind of have to pay attention when you're dodging. You just can't spam it because you'll light yourself on fire. My L2 is this beautiful fireball that has a great lighting effect on it. I really like the look of the fireball. It has a very predictable arc, so it's actually pretty easy to aim. And then the R2 is this arcane blast, which is just kind of a heavy shot. There is some destructible environments like doors and walls and rocks. The enemies themselves, you can break through their shells, and bits and pieces of them will go flying off. The pink tongue-looking things are what are actually controlling them, as far as I can tell. Steal this ring, and oh, we have a flame lance ring? I'm getting murdered. Whoop! Flame lance is kind of like flame spray. It's just a flamethrower coming out of my hand. Alright, got it. You do have a double jump, which is really nice. I have 3 dashes and the cooldown reduced for the dash, so that gives me a little bit more mobility than what you would start with. Goes like a crab. See how he kind of knew what he was doing, where he walked and attacked with his limbs there. So that's the... Ooh, that was weird. That's part of what makes the enemies really interesting to me, is because you don't really know how smart one of them is, and that's something I've never really had to deal with before. Like these big rocky things, they don't really know what they're doing yet, so they're not that threatening. But some of the other ones, I think they've spawned enough where they've figured out what they're doing a little bit. Goodness. Rush me into the corner. There are all kinds, like there is variants of enemies, like those little pink guys are gonna keep shooting. Just gonna get out of there. That was a well-timed fireball. Still alive. Okay, just being weird. Oh, here comes another one. Get out of there. Okay. So you do have the old school like grid-based inventory space, so you can move stuff around to get a better backpack. You have your 2 rings, and then there's 2 slots here. These are actually your L1, R1 abilities. We just picked up a shield bubble. And then over here are, they end up being like passive perks, so you can get like increased damage, you can get little things like extra dash charges, and then you have a hood as another modifier that can give you more perks and just give you like bonus life and bonus damage, things like that. There's actually some cool hoods. There's one called the Flying Hood, for example, and that one gives you a shield every time you jump. Anytime, well, not even jump, just anytime you're airborne, it'll give you a shield. Alright, we're getting through this, no worries. Triple rock. There are boss monsters. I think there might be one coming, but they have blue health bars, so they're identifiable. Ah, perfect. This is going to be a little side portal, which is, they usually take you to little challenge rooms. It's kind of like kill all the monsters here and get a chest. Sometimes there's like houses and farms, like there is a little bit of variance to these challenge rooms, but it's almost always just kill the things and get out. So we just got a hood, and it's the Cultist Hood, so it gives us a bunch of life and some cooldown reductions and some physical resistance. You can see in the middle what your current stats are and what all the stats you can get are, so it's all resistance, damage, movement speed, cooldown, crit, and life. So the stats are fairly simple. If you've played any kind of like RPGs, you'll be right at home with that. These purple orbs actually do a lot of damage. They do something like 20 damage, and if you see at the bottom left, I have 157 health total, so that's chunking me out if I need those pink orbs. Go for falling boats! Flame Lance ring, is that better than the one we have? 3 to 5. 3 to 4, yes it is. So you can just hit square to auto-equip it. You can hit R2 to compare the two. If you want to, you can throw this Flame Lance in this hand and have the dual Flame Lances. There's some rings that you can actually use as mobility options. There's one, it's called Arcane Burst. It's one you can unlock from the Generalist perk tree in the beginning. Ooh, another Flame Lance. 3 to 5, but it gives us projectile speed and bonus damage, so it's even better. Super. Alright, let's get out of here. I'll probably just do the first level here, get to the Cave of Lost Souls, and then that'll be all I'll show you guys, just because it's just better if you could play it yourself, honestly. I don't want to spoil too much. I do kind of hope we get to come across a tree, though, because the trees are weird and, like, made of rubber. There's some things that are a little strange with the game, but at the same time, the art style and everything kind of, where you're in this nightmarish world, it makes sense for things to be weird. That'll be an R1. So this will act as a turret and fire for us for a short time. You can get fireball ones, you can get arcane ones. I think you can get what are called bamboo ones, which end up being nature damage. The hood with teeth. I'm not sure exactly the benefit of that one. I just know that it drains your life constantly. And it says that if you feed it, that you'll get a reward, but I'm not sure what the reward is, because I wore it so long the other day that it killed me, but just be careful with that one. Always outnumbered, never outgunned. I think that was just gold, maybe? I don't know. It was something. Oh, it was another hood. Oh, if you hold your dodge, or your dash, sorry, you actually get the aimer for it. And it kind of makes it easier to predict where you're going. You can hold it down and let it go off when you want it to. Some of the moves have ultimates, so like the fireball here, if you fire 3 in a row, the third one will go green like that, and you'll actually fire multiple fireballs. And it's predictable like that, so you can use it properly, or not properly, but like use it tactfully. I can't talk this morning, jeez. Ooh, okay. So this is the one that I was talking about that you can use as mobility. I'm stuck in this guy's beam attack. Super fireball, go! Oh, I missed. I'm awful. Okay. So you can just shoot your feet with this one, and you can fly around the levels. Oh, I'm messing it up. You can swim, by the way. That is a thing. You don't just drown if you hit water. The force push works on enemies, which is why that guy's getting repelled. Its orb will repel him. So this is a shop, and the art in this shop, I absolutely love the look of this shop. Just, it gives me big time, like, Studio Ghibli vibes. Save me! So I'm just gonna sell what's in my inventory, except for the good flame lance, because I might switch back to it for the damage. And then over here, he has all kinds of good things for you. Like, this would go on the left side, those tokens that I was talking about that we don't have any filled in right now. Bonus damage, reduction, resistance, different kinds of hoods, different of the rings that we've already been using. He's got rare versions though, so better upgrades, better stats. I don't think I really have a lot of money, but I don't really want anything. I'm not using lightning, so that's no good. just health and resistance. Health and resistance. That's fire damage, which should be kind of good to get. Let's buy that. And then we'll check what Roy has. Oh, can we afford that? We can. Super. So it's gonna give us another dodge, another dash charge, and more fire damage. So I'm gonna put that back on. So then we're rocking 2 fire, and then we're gonna do that, and that's gonna give us more fire damage, more fire damage. Excellent. Look at us doing damage. Yeah, that's quite a bit more with that. We're also up to 4 dashes, which is super. But as you can see, it's just your typical roguelike, really. But it's just with the mage thing and the crazy enemies like this. It's very different from in looks and feel. The fighting, once you get the couple dashes and like using like that arcane bump and things like that, the combat gets really wild, especially with some of the big enemies, which we haven't really seen any. There should be a boss. Oh, this should be a boss here. This is what we mean by big enemy. Oh goodness. One of his legs. Okay, we got him. That was scary. So we got a fireball device. Oh. Yeah, we got a fireball device, which we'll equip. And then we got this one, which is terrifying, but I'll show you what it does. This is... Was it on cooldown? It is on cooldown. Darn. Well, we got another arcane device. We got a fireball device which shoots fireballs too. Once that one comes off cooldown, I'll show you what it does. It actually makes a black hole. This is a blood sacrifice room. You pay the currency you use for the passives to go in, and then you get to open a chest, which will give you something. Our hood is better because it gives us more fire damage, and we're using a bunch of fire. So, let's see, it's on cooldown. There we go. There it goes, and then it actually makes the bubble of Jewel. And you can kill yourself with it. Absolutely, because it's a black hole. So that's gonna be Source of Badness. I'm not showing you anymore. I'm not even gonna go to the end of this level. Pick this one up, guys. It's totally worth it. It's not expensive at all. I think it's like 30 bucks full price. So definitely worth your time. There's a bunch of different classes to unlock. You can get a Geomancer, a Bloodmancer, a Stormcaller, the Frost Mage, and then they all have like their own branches of the skill tree to unlock more and more stuff for them. So there's a ton of meat on this one. Definitely worth checking it out. That's going to be it for me though. If you like the video, smash the button to subscribe. I'll show you more cool games. Hit the like button so that more people can see my videos. That way they can find cool games too. Thanks guys. Catch you on the next one.